So it seems that it's a pretty massive release week for Warhammer 40k and Kill Team. The new big box in Kill Team Hivestorm is here, bringing with it some Aquilons and Vespers, though it's certainly coming with a big price tag. And we've got Night Lord Jaegers and Mandrakes with individual releases. Let's talk about what's coming and the prices. Hello and welcome back to Warspecs Tactics, where today we're talking model releases and prices. And in this one I thought we'd take a look at Kill Team Hivestorm and all the associated things that are coming out alongside. Games Workshop have been building up the new edition of Kill Team for a good few weeks now. Animated teaser trailers, lore articles and lots of rules articles for the new game mode, plus plenty of showcasing of their new miniatures that they're coming out with in the Tempestors, Aquilons and the Vespid Stingwings. It now seems that the big Kill Team Hivestorm box set is going to be coming to pre-order this week, going live on Saturday the 21st of September, so basically posted out and full release in stores on the 5th of October. I was wondering if they'd do a big box release weekend and then follow it up with some other things later. Though it does look like they're just going for most of the Kill Team release all in one big wave. We've both got the main launch box, which is around $230, £145 or €180. That one feels like it's probably going to be the biggest and most in-demand item. Otherwise we've got 8 releases for Kill Teams, 4 ones that are released solo that we've been expecting for a while now, with Votann Jaegers, Night Lords and Brood Brothers and Mandrakes. Apparently the first of 3 release waves for these, with the other ones getting reboxed later. Plus they've got the Kill Team core book and the generic equipment set sold separately, and repackaged terrain sets for the Beta Decimer and Gallo Dark terrain. They're also releasing some Warhammer merch plushes as well. In this video though, I thought we'd talk through the prices and a bit of a breakdown of the different Kill Team releases, going through them one by one. As ever, if you were looking to pre-order the box sets, there's plenty of places that'll do them at discount around the world. I've got a number of examples links down in the channel's video description. 15% off in the UK in Element Games, sometimes they do 20% on launch days, 21% at Gap Games, 10% at Fenris Workshop in Canada, 15% at Wargame Portal in the USA, and 16% at Tash and Geldeep in the EU. They're all links down in the video description and help support the channel whether you're buying new releases, other Warhammer things, or other hobby supplies. As I'm sure most Kill Team fans are well aware, Games Workshop don't have a good history of having good supply of these. Hopefully it will be at least a little bit better for a big edition launch box, but their more normal Kill Team, Dual Team releases tend to sell out incredibly quickly, and Games Workshop have rarely made enough supply to meet demand. As a result, if you're absolutely certain that you're wanting to buy this, it's worth being ready at launch time to give you the best chance of landing it at a discount deal if it's going. Here are the pre-order times for the stores I just mentioned: midnight Eastern time for Wargame Portal and Fenris Workshop, 10 AM in the UK and midday Australian time in Gap Games, and 11 AM Central European time for Tash and Geldeep in Germany. Obviously no guarantees that Games Workshop will give them enough stock. I'll be ready at launch time, check them out, but then also fall back to other retailers or Games Workshop's web store themselves if they really don't distribute enough. Looking through the Kill Team offerings though, first up we have Kill Team Hivestorm itself, the big launch box for the new edition of the game, containing 10 Vespid Stingwings and their Observer drone, 10 Tempestors Aquilons, the Scions with the grav shoots, plus their bonus sentry gun, and then really quite a lot of terrain that's aimed to make up Killzone Volcus, the Hive City where that great gun is housed. Though to be honest, I think they're just really quite good bits of functional terrain that would work really quite well for 40k tables more generally. Then they've got the general Kill Team equipment set, a plastic set to represent a bunch of assets and things in-game, the core book for the new edition, tokens for the Kill Teams, a set of cards for Prove Ops, and some dice and tokens beyond that. It seems that this one's clocking in at the same price as the Blood Angels Army Set box set, so $230 or 280 Canadian, which should translate to £145 or €180. So perhaps as expected, really quite a lot more than one of their more standard one team versus one team box sets. I'm going to guess that that'll be a price that's a bit more than a lot of people might have been hoping for. As ever with these Kill Team box sets that have a fair bit of terrain in them, that's actually perhaps one of the most expensive bits of the entire thing. As mentioned, this one does have a fairly generous amount of ruins and things. It does mean that if you say just wanted to get your hands on either the Vespid or the Tempestors Aquilons, it's going to be a very steep price of entry, so this one feels like it's a lot more aimed at people who want all aspects of it, actually to get into Kill Team and play it itself. And I feel like there'll be a lot of demand for that, either for Kill Team players wanting to jump into the new edition, or other people wanting to try it out. I feel like reception has generally been at least kind of positive so far for the actual game modes and mechanics, particularly the idea of co-op and solo play, which could be a bit of a different shake-up on the whole Warhammer formula. I might do a little bit more of a focused breakdown of the price of the things and the discount in the box later in the week, but generally as ever with these launch boxes, if you were to buy all of the components of it separately, it would cost you far more than this. Games Workshop terrain does tend to be kind of expensive, plus there's the core book, the cards, and the equipment set, all of which would cost extra. Let me know what you make of the pricing though down in the comments. Just to zoom in a little bit, here are the two kill teams. We've got the Tempestus Aquilons with their grav shoots and hotshot lasguns jumping down from the heavens. I'll be interested to see the 40k rules for them. It feels like they're quite likely to drop in a Warhammer community article one day, either maybe this week or next. The Vespid will also need a new datasheet with their flamer, rare rifle and grenade launcher that you can now get in the unit. Nice of them to get some cool dynamic sculpts after having the older metal than finecast models for a really long time now. I feel like they're quite fun the way that they painted them in this box set. It kind of feels like the original idea of it was to paint them up in the Kill Team colours of grey and orange that tend to be on all their box sets. Here are the books and the card contents. There's the core book, Hivestorm dossier, and then the approved ops card pack, so Kill Team missions for 2024 there. And here's a closer look at the equipment and terrain pack, the equipment being generic supplies that a lot of different kill teams can basically all choose to equip if they want to, plus a couple of measurement rulers that have more than enough skulls on them, plus the terrain set, 2 biggish ruins, 2 smallish ruins, and a whole bunch of minor corners and barricades. From their reveal article, Games Workshop also showed a few pre-order incentives that they often tend to do around the new editions of games. They had one for the Sigmar Scaventide and the Warhammer 40k Leviathan. Looks like if you order them either from the Warhammer web store or from a Warhammer store, you get a whole bunch of raised bases with wound counters, which could be interesting for gaming. I guess they might potentially affect the height of the model though, which could just be one issue. Otherwise, if you order from a third-party stockist, you get a bunch of wound token dice trays. I guess you need the appropriate size dice to fit in those things, and supply of those can be a bit variable, but you might get that if you order the set at a discount. Otherwise, beyond the core box, we've got a whole bunch of individual Kill Team releases, both first individual releases for the Mandrakes, Night Lords, Jaegers, and the Brood Brothers, and then Kill Team reboxings for the Orc Commandos, Space Marine Scouts, Corsair Voice Guard, and the Blooded. As mentioned, this is going to be the first of 3 different waves of these. I believe there's around about 27 or so kill teams that they're probably supporting this edition, so the other ones might be a little bit less interesting reboxings of things that we've already have released over the previous 3 years or so. All of these have got slightly newer style packaging. You can tell the old ones from the new ones. Games Workshop had mentioned in previous articles that they'd have a QR code with each one of the kill teams to refer you to the current digital set of the rules, and those are staying free throughout the entire edition. The box sets will all have a new set of tokens come with them as well as that each one of the kill teams will have their own separate release for data cards. They don't come in the miniature box sets, and it looks like they're going to be online only offerings from Games Workshop. Not sure whether or not there'll be something that they keep in stock, or might be a bit more of a limited item that they might stock for a bit and then sell out of. I think some of the most interesting will be the ones that haven't been available in their own box set yet. Plenty of people don't exactly rush to buy 2 things bundled together when you might not want the other half of them, so quite big news for things like Votann and Drukhari players out there. For prices, the Hernkin Jaegers are $65, which should be €55 or £42.50. The first chance to get them solo, and I feel like there'll be a lot of demand for leagues of Votann players that don't have them yet. In terms of optimised lists, they tend to be a fairly auto-include unit now. 80 points for screening out the mid-board to make sure you can get your scout moves where they need to be is quite nice, even if they aren't exactly the biggest damage dealers out there. That price has them at $5 more than the Hearthkin Warriors, maybe a little bit of a shame in that one as they feel like a somewhat equivalent kit. Otherwise, we've got the Nemesis Claw for the Night Lords. This is the Chaos Space Marine Legionaries box set with the Night Lord upgrade sprue. These ones are going to be $75, so somewhere around the region of £47.50 or €65. This one was really quite popular as upgrade sprues go, giving really quite a lot of theme and flavour that really changed the image and overall feel of the Legionary kit to be a lot more Night Lord. Again, it's a bit more expensive than the Legionaries Kill Team one here. That one was $70 before, so that's a $5 price increase. Comparing them to the regular Chaos Space Marines on sale currently, they're $65, so you're essentially paying $10 more for the upgrade sprue if you get this rather than that. As it goes, I don't think that's necessarily a terrible deal. Most upgrade sprues that Games Workshop sell tend to be a fair bit more than $10, and this one was kind of fun. Next up, we've got the Mandrakes, the shadowy agents of Comora. Looks like they're going to be a pricey set at $80, so around about the £50 or €65 mark. I feel like they're getting really quite expensive here for essentially $8 per Mandrake. Maybe not super spectacular for fairly smallish and not as customizable inventory models compared with some, though it's certainly nice to have them rescued from fine cast and then just being out of production. Admittedly, it might not be quite as bad as it could have been for Drukhari players out there if they'd released them in a box set of 5 aimed at Warhammer 40k. They'll likely be somewhere in the region of $55 per squad of 5 or more, so even a high price for a box set of 10 is probably a bit preferable to that. It's certainly useful for Drukhari in current 40k though. Having some 65-point infiltrator units that can fade away and float around doing secondary objectives and still be quite a good threat to lighter infantry is pretty good. Finally, for the new kill teams, we've got the Brood Brothers. They're $65, so should be €55 or £42.50. Again, the first chance to get them solo, essentially the Cadian shock troops with a Brood Brother upgrade sprue. It looks like Games Workshop have chosen not to include the Brood Coven with the Patriarch and Primus and Magus in it, despite them coming in the 2 kill team versus box. As upgrade sprue kill teams go, I feel like they maybe feel a little bit less good than the Legionaries one maybe. They've still got some cool aesthetic upgrades, but the standard Cadians are $52 and these ones are $65, a bit of a bigger relative increase there, and kind of a shame to lose the Commander options, but it seems that GW doesn't want to undercut the price of their Brood Coven box set in the same way that they did with the Hieratech Circle and the Necrons with the Cryptek. Otherwise, for reboxing, there's some good news and some bad. Looks like the Scout Squad does get a Kill Team box set. I was wondering whether or not they might just release them under 40k branding, but it seems that they're still in the Kill Team game first and foremost. The Scouts are priced at $80, which looks like they'll be somewhere in the region of €65 or £50, and it looks like that's really quite a big price hike for them, given that I think they were $65 previously. It appears that they're just using a new edition as an excuse to bump up the price tag by $15 or so. If you were planning to pick up some Space Marine Scouts, it might well be worth looking at third-party discount retailers around the world who might still have some in stock from the previous version if you're not too bothered about the Kill Team rules. Though again, with the Mandrakes, it's still a better deal per model than if they started selling them in 5-man box sets, where if you'd wanted 10 of them, they'd certainly be well in excess of $100. Next up, for the Blooded Kill Team, it seems that they've decided to keep the Traitor Ogrin and the Traitor Enforcer in with the Cadian troops and the upgrade sprue that make up the Traitor Guardsman Kill Team. Again, looks like it's a big bump in price though, up to $75 US, meaning they'll be in the region of €65 or £47. Again, a big jump of over $10 here. Finally, we've got the Eldari Corsair Void Guard. They're $65. Again, I believe both very slightly increased in price there. It's interesting that kill teams like the Commandos are getting a new box with the current edition packaging. Games Workshop basically said that they were sort of kill team legends and declassified after a year, even if they still get full rule support for the whole edition and then get downgraded after that. Seems that with that sort of rule support, Games Workshop still feel like it's worth putting them in a kill team box. I guess maybe from their point of view it's not the worst life cycle ever, if they are still getting 3 years worth of life cycle out of them, even if the last 2 aren't recommended for tournament play. I still suspect that a lot of their sales will more come from Warhammer 40k Orc players though. Finally, for the other bits, if you wanted the Kill Team manual but not the big box, the core book looks like it'll be $60, £40 or around €51, and then the Kill Team generic equipment set looks like it's $45, £28 or €35, and both of those are included in the big box of course. Finally, for the Killzone releases, they're releasing a big terrain set of the Beta Decima terrain, plus the boarding action style Gallo Dark terrain. They'll be coming out individually, but they'll be online only, so we don't know exactly how much they'll cost yet, and it looks like it's the same for the approved Ops card pack. When it comes out as a solo release, that one won't be at quite as many discount retailers. Finally, and of course the most important announcement of the week, are the Warhammer plushes. The rollout of cute Warhammer merch continues. This one has a Servo Skull, Sassy Nurgling and a Ripper Swarm, and a nice little Watcher in the Dark with the Lion's Helm. In any case though, a pretty big week for Kill Team and 40k in general. It's nice to finally see the individual releases for a bunch of teams that people have been looking for a while. Mandrakes, Night Lords and Jaegers I'm sure will all be popular. I do feel like the prices on these for most of them though are just around about an extra $5 or $10 more than you might have liked or expected. I have a feeling that the Hivestorm box set will be quite popular, Not anywhere near the same sort of extent as a mainstream 40k edition release, but should be plenty of people interested in it, both for the Kill Team's terrain and the actual Kill Team game. I'll be interested to hear what you make of the price though, whether or not that's a big turn off or more or less what you expected given the terrain and contents. As mentioned, when you do come to pre-order, check out the links in the video description at the times listed here. If you did want one option to buy them at discount, if they do sell out fast though, fall back to other places and the Games Workshop web store at a similar kind of time. It's usually the next day for the folks in North America. In any case, I'll hopefully check back with a video later in the week, maybe going into a bit of feedback from you guys as to what sort of things you're thinking about picking up, and certainly look to cover any rules for Aquilons and Vespid that manifest them for the 40k side of things. Finally, if you'd like to help support the channel and keep the videos coming, I would just like to mention that Auspex Tactics does have a Patreon page as well, and you can find that linked in the video description if you'd like to help support all the videos. Channel patrons do get a few advantages, seeing certain videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things come next on the channel, and automatic entry into the regular prize giveaways with a chance to win some big model kits each month. If any of that sounds good to you or you'd just like to help support, the link is down in the video description. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.